Hey, it's me. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vinny. And today we're going to be looking at my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Now before we get into this, remember this is just my opinion. I know that some of you are going to disagree with me.
But if you do, I will find you and I will...
But anyway, before we get started on my top 10, I would like to name 2 honorable mentions. This was very, very tough. I thought this was actually going to be really easy, but my 2 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is Cowboys from Hell by Pantera. Now, this is not Pantera's first album, as many people were led to believe. This is not actually even Phil Anselmo's first album with Pantera, but this is the first album that we came to see them as the power metal band that they are, and this album is phenomenal. Cowboys from Hell, Primal Concrete Sledge, Psycho Holiday, Herstory, Cemetery Gates, Domination, which features the best guitar solo, in my opinion, of all time, let alone just Dimebag Darrell's guitar solo. Dimebag is very good, okay? If you haven't listened to this album, I do really recommend it if metal is your thing, and if it isn't, what's wrong with you? My second honorable mention will be Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. Now, this was Motley Crue's first album. I've got it here on vinyl. This is a reproduction done in 2000, I believe. It's a fantastic album. A lot of people wouldn't rate it at the top of Motley Crue's list. I definitely would. It was raw. You could definitely tell that they were still learning, but I think that's why I love the album so much. Songs like Live Wire, which is like a staple song for them, Merry-Go-Round, Take Me to the Top, you know, Piece of Your Action. My favorite song by Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. Not many people love that one, but I really do. But yeah, if glam metal, this is the one for me that kick-started all of it. So go give this one a listen. Right, those are the honorable mentions out of the way. I'm gonna get straight into my top 10 now. But if you're watching this video, why not leave a comment telling me some of your favorite albums, and maybe I'll give them a listen in a future video. But yes, let's get right into this.
Let's do this!
Now at number 10, I'm gonna go with Painkiller by Judas Priest. This album I really got into probably, I think it was 2009, whenever Brutal Legend came out, which is the greatest game of all time, by the way. But yes, when I got into this album, it was around about that time. There was 3 songs that featured, which was Painkiller, Leather Rebel, and One Shot at Glory. This album from start to finish is just hard hitting, but obviously it doesn't get any hard hitting than the opening track itself, Painkiller. Listen to this album, you're gonna have a great time. It's amazing, listen to it. If you get bored during this video, you can always just look at the DVD. Oh! Now at number 9, we're going with Another Perfect Day by Motorhead. Don't need to say anything about Lemmy. That guy is a badass, okay? The whiskey smoking, the whiskey drinking, the cigarette smoking, the rock and roll badass himself, Lemmy, back here. And this is my all-time favorite Motorhead album. I know a lot of people like Ace of Spades, a lot of people like Overkill, a lot of people like their opening album, Motorhead, but for me, this one is fantastic. It has my favorite song, which again, I heard
on the game Brutal Legend was the greatest game of all time. I don't need to say it again.
Best song by Motorhead by far for me is Marching Off to War. Marching Off to War is a phenomenally badass song that you want to just charge into battle or go to the gym or find the urge to get up in the morning because life is really hard and lockdown has... Number 9, Another Perfect Day. Now at number 8, I'm cheating a little bit. I could not separate these 2 albums, but I don't feel too bad because they're both by the one and only Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, he's amazing, okay? But these 2 albums, it is crazy how good they are. You know, you look at the first one alone, you know, you look at Thriller, you got the Wanna Be a Star Something, Baby Be Mine, The Girl Is Mine, Pretty Young Thing. Not huge songs by Michael Jackson, but songs that you really need to listen to, especially if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, or at least like his music, you need to have heard these ones. But obviously, you've got songs like Thriller, you've got songs like Beat It, you've got songs like Billie Jean. It's fantastic. But on this one, Bad by Michael Jackson, this album contains 5 of the biggest songs that he's ever done. You've got Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, you've got Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, and then Smooth Criminal. You've got those 5 songs on one album. These 2 albums I cannot separate. Michael Jackson, Thriller, Bad. Ooh. Now at number 7, I'm going to go with Black Sabbath, Masters of Reality. Obviously, I'm a big fan. No, this is the best Black Sabbath album. I don't care what anyone says. I know Paranoid, great album, but as a listening experience alone, shoving on this album is phenomenal. Starts off with Sweet Leaf. You know, if you know Black Sabbath, you know Sweet Leaf. Bow. You're moving on, and it's got a beautiful intro to one of the most powerful songs, Embryo. It's a beautiful instrumental, and it's very calm. It's very nice, and then all of a sudden, Children of the Grave kicks in. All of a sudden, and Children of the Grave is probably, if not my favorite Black Sabbath song, is definitely up there. Children of the Grave is a fantastic song, and obviously you got songs like Into the Void and Solitude, After Forever. Phenomenal album, you need to give it a listen. Now at number 6, I'm going to go with the original Led Zeppelin album, the first album that they released. It is fantastic. Led Zeppelin 4 probably could have made it into this list as well, but I'm gonna go with Led Zeppelin 1. I'm gonna go with my gut. This album is actually, it's a limited edition deluxe album. I don't know if it's limited edition. I got it from HMV. This album is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. It's absolutely stacked with great songs. Good Times, Bad Times, Dazed and Confused, which is my all-time favorite Led Zeppelin song. You've got Communication Breakdown, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. These are all songs that you really need to listen to. You can't go through life without listening to them. This album is fantastic. Led Zeppelin, number 1. Well, in this case, number 6. Well, at number 5, I'm going with Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman. Now, I've already spoke about this album. It is absolutely amazing. Randy Rhoads guitar playing, Ozzy's vocals, songs like Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, Believer. Fantastic album. Already spoke about it. Just go listen to this album. It's really good. I should really not shake my vinyls like that. I'm gonna break them. Now at number 4, I'm gonna go with Elvis as recorded at Madison Square Garden. Now I'm normally not a huge fan of recorded live albums because some of the ones that I've owned in the past sound a bit clunky. They don't sound mixed very well, but this one is absolutely phenomenal. And it's mainly because Elvis Presley is one of, if not the best singer of all time, in my opinion. And this album is just chock-a-block with all his best hits. That's Alright with Mama, All Shook Up, Heartbreak Hotel, Teddy Bear, Love Me Tender, Hound Dog, Suspicious Minds, American Trilogy, I Can't Stop Loving You, Can't Help Falling in Love with You, You Lost That Love and Feeling. The list goes on and on, people. If you haven't listened to an Elvis album, then you're
Crazy.
If you need to listen to something new that you haven't listened to, then this is the one you need to go to. This album I would recommend to anyone because it's absolutely fantastic and you'll find anything you want in this album because Elvis is amazing. Now at number 3, I'm going to go with the best Kiss album and my all-time favorite rock band. It is Kiss Destroyer. This album was my introduction into my love for music. This album is fantastic, start to finish. I can't get enough of this album. If I could listen to one album every single day, no matter what mood I'm in, this is the one I'm gonna listen to. Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Great Expectations, Beth, for God's sake. This album is so good. Yes, I get it. Kiss is cheesy, but I love it so much. Kiss Destroyer, number 3.
I shall now teach you of French.
Now, number 2, I'm going to go with something that, let's not lie, none of you have heard of. I'm going to go with my favorite artist of all time, and her name is Madeleine Peyroux. This album is called The Blue Room. Now, I got into this album later on to my teenage years, because at the time I was only listening to things like Kiss, and then I found bands like, Metallica, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and then I moved on to Pantera. Then I found some of the newer metal like Motionless in White. But this was such a welcome change for me. And Madeline Peru is my favorite artist because I can just shove her on whenever, if I need to, like an uplift, trying to chill, if I'm trying to concentrate, you know. And it's this album, yes, it's quite a sad album, but you know, songs like Guilty and Born to Lose, Gentle on My Mind, you know, just put it on and you can just drift away and relax. Madeline Peru, the American French goddess. Listen to the album, trust me, trust me, trust me. Now moving on to numero un, a jazz.
You like jazz?
Legend. The Haricot collection of Edith Piaf. If you haven't heard of Edith Piaf, you would have heard one of her songs. She is fantastic. As I said, Elvis was a great singer. I think she is up there with him. She is absolutely fantastic. Now, I would read you the list of the songs, which I'm going to, but be aware I'm about to butcher their names. Milord, Le Feu, Le Foul, Param Param, Le Vion Rose, Mon Dieu, Exodus, and my favorite song of all time, Non je ne regrette rien. No, I regret nothing.
Ooh, you're odd.
Yes, I get it. It is kind of a cheat because it is a greatest hits album, but if you just listen to it, you can't help but just smile at how good she sounds, because the whole point of why I love Edith Piaf is that her voice is so powerful. Is the instruments are almost just, when they start, they're introducing you, getting you ready to hear the power of her voice, and her voice carries you on this beautiful adventure, and it is just amazing. It is so beautiful. Edith Piaf, in my opinion, probably the best singer of all time. Sorry, Elvis, but no, listen to this freaking album. Edith Piaf is fantastic. Now that has been my top 10 favorite albums. Now that has been my top 10 favorite albums. That's really aggressive. How do an outro? Well, this has been my top 10 favorite albums of all time. If you agreed with me, tell me you agreed with me. Now this has been my top 10 videos. Oh, outros. How do I do this? Give me strength. We do stand-up comedy sometimes. This YouTube stuff is hard, bruh. Hey. And there we have it. Oh, mother.
Wonder how many times KSI has to do an outro.
I only put this album here so we cover up the PlayStation controller. And there we have it. This has been my top 10 favorite albums of all time. If you liked the video, leave a like. Comment telling me how many times the DVD hit the corner. Maybe leave a suggestion on an album that you'd maybe like me to review or talk about or just generally listen to. I recommend you go and listen to any of these albums. They're all fantastic and have a great time. But anyway, it's been your boy Vinny. Bye-bye. Bye.